Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be looking at how a home appliance company is making waves in the world of professional soccer. You might be surprised to learn just how involved Midea is, especially with a championship team right here in the U.S.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how Midea has leveraged these strategic partnerships, especially with City Football Group, to boost their brand visibility, but also to make a genuine impact on communities. You know what's really interesting is that this isn't just any sponsorship deal. This was like the brainchild of Brando, this global brand expert who has this knack for seeing potential where others see question marks.
So Brando is behind Midea's whole U.S. play, and he goes with soccer.
Yeah.
It's growing, but was that really the best move?
Well, that's where it gets interesting. See, Brando is all about understanding not just the sport, but the culture behind it.
Yeah.
You know, soccer or football, as it's known everywhere else.
Of course.
It's more than just a game, especially in a city like New York.
So he's thinking beyond the stats then.
Absolutely.
But how does the team fit into this?
Well, Brando, he had his eye on New York City Football Club.
NYCFC.
NYCFC, exactly. Now, back then, they were a pretty new team. Not exactly the obvious choice for a brand wanting instant recognition.
So a new team for a brand trying to break into a new market. That sounds risky.
It does.
Was Brando just lucky that NYCFC won the MLS Cup in 2021?
See, that's the thing about Brando. He's not about luck. He believes in these challenger brands.
Challenger brands?
Yeah, and NYCFC fit that perfectly.
Break that down for me. What makes a brand a challenger brand? What am I looking for?
Think of it this way. Challenger brands, they have this hunger, this drive to really shake things up. They've got this clear vision, a smart strategy, and they're not afraid to be different.
So it's more than just being new. It's an attitude and ambition.
Exactly.
I see how NYCFC fits in, but how do you turn a soccer team into brand awareness for appliances? Most fans at a game aren't thinking about what fridge to buy.
But it ultimately paid off.
Yeah, their partnership with Manchester City back in 2020 is a great example of this. Even when the pandemic hit and budgets were tight, they stuck with it. What do you think was behind that decision?
Well, you know, most companies would have pulled back on sponsorships during those really uncertain times. But Midea really doubled down. They understood that building trust takes more than just fair weather support.
And their commitment really didn't go unnoticed. Manchester City won the English Premier League that year, and then their sister clubs, NYCFC and Mumbai City FC, both also won their respective leagues in 2021. Talk about a winning streak.
Yeah, it really speaks to Midea's vision and their belief in those challenger brands. They saw the potential for growth and success, and their partnership really did play a part in making that a reality.
It wasn't just about the financial support either. It was about shared values. Both Midea and these clubs were relatively new to their respective scenes, but were driven to make a mark. That shared ambition is incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. They were both hungry for success and willing to challenge the status quo.
But let's be real. Some might say a new team is risky. Was Brando just lucky? Or is there more to this that we can learn from?
Well, luck might be a part of anything, but Brando, he's got a method to this. He's not just picking teams randomly. Remember those challenger brand qualities?
Right.
He wants those same things in the teams he works with. You know, brands that are ambitious, that want to grow, and that fit the values he's trying to get out there.
So he's finding a team that matches the brand. But how does he actually spot that? It's not like it's obvious, right?
It's a little bit of art and science. You have to look past just their record. You have to know the team's culture, their connection with the city, what they want to do. And Brando, he's been doing this for over 25 years.
Wow.
He's got a real talent for seeing what a team could be.
It reminds me of those underdog stories where someone believes in something no one else does and then it becomes huge.
Yeah.
It takes vision to see that, though, doesn't it?
It does. You have to see the potential, the energy that could make something great. That's what Brando saw in NYCFC. They weren't just a team, they were a movement. They reflected what New York City is all about, you know, that energy and diversity.
And that energy was contagious, wasn't it? NYCFC winning the MLS Cup in 2021?
Yeah.
That must have felt good for Brando and Midea.
Yeah.
But even beyond just winning, it felt like this was about more than that.
You're right. So you remember when the pandemic shut everything down?
Yeah.
A lot of sponsors pulled back.
Right.
But Midea actually doubled down with Manchester City. And they created all this engaging content for fans.
Wow.
Even when games were suspended.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it really
It makes you wonder if they're that dedicated to a partnership.
Yeah.
Maybe that means they bring that same level of care to their products.
It's a good point.
But how do they turn soccer fandom
Yeah.
into, like, wanting to buy a refrigerator.
Right. Well, that's where campaigns like Surprising Stories come into play.
Okay.
It's all about showcasing the positive impact of both the brand and the club.
Right.
Not through these flashy ads, but through highlighting these personal stories.
Oh, okay.
So they interviewed players and fans,
Interesting.
learned about their lives,
Mm-hmm.
and then surprised them with Midea appliances to, make them feel at home.
Oh, that's nice. So there was this one story about a fan
Yeah.
who, he found a real sense of community through NYCFC
Okay.
after he moved to the city.
Yeah.
And Midea surprised him with a new washer and dryer.
Oh, wow.
It was really heartwarming,
Yeah.
but also strategically brilliant, right?
Very.
Like they're not pushing products.
Right.
They're kind of weaving themselves into the fabric of these emotional experiences.
Exactly.
So it's more than just heartwarming stories, right?
Right.
What are you doing, like, on the ground?
Yeah. Their partnership with NYCFC was actually a part of a much larger global strategy.
Yeah.
You see, Midea realized that the City Football Group, which owns Manchester City and NYCFC, also owns several other clubs around the world. And they saw an opportunity to leverage their existing partnership to really tap into these new markets.
So they used that initial investment in Manchester City as a springboard to expand their partnerships globally.
Yeah, like they created a network, a global web of partnerships. Wow.
And they did it strategically, choosing clubs in key markets for Medea's growth.
Like NYCFC here in the U.S.
Exactly. A crucial market for any global brand. And a Mumbai City FC in India.
Another massive and rapidly growing market.
It's a brilliant example of how strategic partnerships can really amplify a brand's reach exponentially.
It's a win-win for everyone involved, right? The clubs receive financial support, and then Midea gets access to millions of potential customers who already have a positive association with their brand through their love of soccer.
It's about creating shared value, and it goes beyond just brand awareness. These partnerships also create opportunities for authentic community engagement.
Right, like we saw with Medea's work with CITC in New York.
And that kind of leads us to one of the most intriguing parts of this deep dive, which is this Surprising Stories campaign that Midea and NYCFC created. I was really captivated by how they connected the newness of both the brand and the team with these really heartwarming stories about players and fans.
Yeah, it's brilliant marketing. They took what could have been a dry sponsorship deal and infused it with genuine emotion. It wasn't just about pushing products, it was about creating a positive association with the brand through storytelling.
Can you give us some specific examples of how they did that?
Of course. Yeah, it's all about showcasing those surprisingly friendly Midea products,
Okay.
celebrating NYCFC's unexpected win, and then it's like they capture these stories of New Yorkers, all different walks of life, and what home means to them.
Sounds like a really interesting way to connect with people on a personal level instead of just the usual, product features and sales pitches.
Right. They're showing how these appliances are actually part of people's lives. It makes it more real, more relatable.
Yeah, and they do it through these really well done Instagram posts. They've got NYCFC players and then just regular fans too.
Nice mix.
Yeah, and one that I really liked was this player talking about how his Midea air purifier, it helps him chill out and recover after, those tough training sessions.
Oh yeah, athletes need that recovery time. For sure. And it's a simple story, but it works, right? Because it shows the product's part of his routine, helping him stay healthy. It's not just, hey, buy this air purifier.
Subtle but effective.
And then there was another one, really got to me, this fan talking about his Midea microwave. He was saying it's like it takes him back to his childhood, like the smells and the tastes of his grandma's cooking.
Oh, man, that's powerful, connecting it to those memories.
Right. And that's how they tap into that whole idea of home. It's not just a place. It's like all those memories, those traditions,
Definitely. It's the feeling of home, not just the physical space.
And it makes you realize, even these everyday appliances, they can be a big part of our lives, shaping our experiences.
Yeah, in ways we don't always think about.
Totally. And that's what makes this partnership so cool. It's not just about selling stuff. It's about community, belonging, those things that make a house a home.
They've really nailed that aspect of it.
And it's funny because at first glance, you wouldn't think a global appliance brand and a local soccer team would have much in common. But when you look closer, you see their values line up, and it makes sense.
That's it's about finding those unexpected connections.
Right. It challenges how we think about partnerships, shows that thinking outside the box can actually lead to something great.
Definitely. And honestly, when I first heard about this partnership, I was skeptical. But after really digging into these sources, I'm impressed. They're not just talking the talk. They're actually doing the work.
Absolutely. Which brings up a big question for all of us listening. How can we take this surprising partnership idea and, apply it to our own lives?
Yeah, that's the real takeaway.
Maybe it's about finding a local organization that shares your values,
Yeah.
or working with people or businesses even that you normally wouldn't.
Exactly. It's about being open to new possibilities, recognizing that sometimes those really impactful collaborations, they come from the most unexpected places.
I think this deep dive has given us a lot to chew on.
A lot to think about.
It's like even in a world full of marketing, when there's that genuine connection, those shared values, it can still break through and make a difference. No doubt about it.
It's amazing how a simple appliance can become such a symbol of family, childhood, home-cooked meals.
That's the brilliance of the campaign. It goes beyond the product itself and taps into those emotions and experiences that it represents. Midea isn't just selling microwaves. They're selling the feeling of home, the comfort of cherished memories.
It's really powerful. It's not just about the features and benefits. It's about the feelings and associations that the brand evokes.
Exactly. But Midea doesn't stop there. They also partnered with City in the community, CITC.
Oh, yeah. That's where things get really interesting. We should probably talk about what they do, though, in case some folks aren't familiar.
Yeah, good point. So for those who don't know, CITC, it's basically NYCFC's foundation, and their focus is all about youth development and helping the community.
Important stuff.
And through this partnership, Midea goes beyond just, a typical sponsorship deal. They're actually getting involved.
Right. They're putting in the work.
Exactly. And one of the things that really blew me away was that they donated 956 appliances to shelters in the South Bronx.
Whoa, that's a lot of appliances. That's a serious commitment.
It is. I mean, that's not just a token gesture. It shows they're in it for the long haul, trying to actually improve things for these families.
Okay, so walk me through this. What's the thinking behind donating appliances? Why not just give money?
Well, it's about practicality and making a difference you can see right away. These appliances, they're solutions to problems families are facing, right now.
So it's about addressing immediate needs.
Yeah. And they didn't just donate random stuff. They focused on things like air purifiers, dehumidifiers, fans, things that can really help with the high asthma rates and the air quality issues in the South Bronx.
That's smart. They're thinking about the long-term health of those families.
Exactly. And it goes even deeper than that. They're also helping young people develop into leaders.
How so?
So through CITC, they've got this program, right? It trains young people living in shelters to become community soccer leaders. They learn valuable skills, get more confident, and then they can give back by coaching younger kids.
Oh, wow. So they're not just receiving help, they're empowered to help others.
It's this whole cycle of positive influence. So we've got this challenger brand mentality, the commitment to community, and now a program that's all about empowering young people. Pretty powerful stuff, right?
Definitely a unique approach. It's a holistic approach to sponsorship. It's not just about logos on jerseys or ads during the game. It's about building meaningful relationships with communities, creating shared value, and making a positive impact. It's a much more sustainable and authentic approach to marketing.
And it's clearly working for Midea. They've managed to achieve global brand recognition in a relatively short amount of time, all while building goodwill and making a difference in the communities where they operate.
It's really a testament to the power of strategic thinking, creative partnerships, and a genuine commitment to social responsibility.
And it all started with a belief.
It's clear that these partnerships are about much more than just branding and marketing. They're about using the power of soccer to bring people together and create positive social change.
It's a testament to the potential for businesses to be a force for good in the world.
This has been a fascinating exploration of Midea's journey into the world of soccer. They've really managed to transform themselves from just a home appliance company into a global brand with a strong social conscience.
They've shown that it's possible to achieve both commercial success and social impact.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what makes Midea's story so compelling. What do you think are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Yeah, it really has been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? We started talking about dishwashers and microwaves, and now we're talking about global soccer partnerships and community impact initiatives.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how Midea, remember it's pronounced my dear, has managed to weave these everyday products into a narrative that resonates on such a large scale.
Their story is a good reminder that innovation and impact can come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah, we often have these like preconceived notions about certain industries, but Midea has really shattered those expectations.
They've proven that a company can be both profitable and purpose-driven.
Yeah, business success and social responsibility can go hand in hand.
And they've done it in a way that feels authentic and engaging.
They're not just writing checks or slapping their logo on things. They're actively involved in creating positive change.
Yeah, their approach to sponsorship is a masterclass in strategic thinking.
They identified an opportunity, aligned themselves with like-minded partners, and executed their vision flawlessly.
And they understood the importance of storytelling.
They didn't just talk about their products, they weaved them into narratives that resonated with people's emotions.
Yeah, those surprising stories were so effective because they tapped into those like universal human experiences.
The desire for connection, the comfort of home, the joy of belonging.
They reminded us that even in a world that can feel increasingly divided, there are still things that unite us.
Absolutely. Things that transcend those cultural boundaries.
And they showed us that a brand can be more than just a product or a service.
It can be a force for good, a catalyst for positive change.
Midea's story is a testament to the power of human ingenuity.
The importance of community.
And the potential for businesses to make a real difference in the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's inspiring to see a company like Midea use its platform and resources to do good in the world.
It's a reminder that even something as seemingly ordinary as a home appliance company can have an extraordinary impact.
But it's really interesting how Midea's strategy kind of transcends borders.
Yeah.
They're essentially using this globally recognized sport to connect with local communities in this very personal way.
Yeah, that's the genius of it.
Yeah.
They're tapping into that universal appeal of soccer, the passion, the camaraderie, and then tailoring their message to resonate with specific cultural nuances in each market.
Oh, that's smart.
It's like a masterclass in global local marketing.
Wow. Okay, so we've uncovered this multi-layered strategy.
Yeah.
But for our listener, who may not be a marketing whiz,
Right.
what's the one key takeaway they should remember?
Yeah.
What's the Midea secret sauce?
I'd say it's the power of authenticity.
Okay.
Midea isn't just throwing money at sponsorships.
Yeah.
They're thoughtfully integrating their brand into experiences that people genuinely care about. They're not afraid to show their human side, their commitment to community.
Right.
And honestly, that resonates far more deeply than any flashy ad campaign ever could.
It's funny. We started this deep dive thinking we were going to unpack a home appliance company.
Right.
But we actually kind of stumbled onto a blueprint for building a purpose-driven brand
Yeah.
in any industry.
Totally.
It's pretty inspiring, actually.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that consumers are looking for more than just products and services these days. They want to connect with brands that share their values.
Yeah.
And Midea is showing us how it's done.
Exactly.
And they're doing it all while subtly reminding us how to pronounce their name correctly.
Right.
My dear, not Midea.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, really. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, is there anything else that stood out to you from all this? Anything our listeners should be pondering as they go about their day?
Yeah, one thing that struck me was the long game that Midea is playing.
Okay.
Building brand loyalty, it's not a sprint.
Right.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
And they seem willing to invest the time and resources to cultivate those deep connections, even when the immediate payoff isn't obvious.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
In a world obsessed with instant gratification, it's refreshing to see a company prioritizing long-term value creation over short-term gains.
It really is.
It's a lesson a lot of businesses could learn from,
Yeah.
regardless of their size or industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a reminder that building a brand, it's about more than just marketing tactics.
Right.
It's about creating this culture of genuine engagement, both internally and externally.
Yeah.
But this brings up a really interesting question. For our listeners, think about the brands you support. Do they share your values?
That's a good question.
Are they making a positive impact?
Right.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
we're all voting with our wallets every day.
That's such a crucial point.
Right.
Every purchase is a chance to support the kind of world we want to live in.
Exactly.
And by choosing brands like Midea, my dear, not Media, as we've learned,
Yes.
that align with our values, we can collectively kind of nudge the market in a more responsible direction.
It's like a subtle form of activism.
Total.
And it's empowering to realize that our everyday choices can actually make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But before we get too philosophical here, let's bring it back to Midea.
Right.
What's the one thing you think they're doing exceptionally well that other brands could learn from?
I'd say it's their ability to connect these seemingly disparate elements into a cohesive narrative.
Okay.
Like they've taken home appliances. Right.
Soccer, community engagement, even the pronunciation of their name.
Yeah.
And woven them all into this compelling story
Right.
that resonates with people on multiple levels.
Okay, yeah.
It's not just marketing.
Yeah.
It's storytelling at its finest.
So it's like they've cracked the code of building a brand that feels both global and intensely personal at the same time.
Exactly.
They're speaking to a worldwide audience through the language of soccer, but then tailoring their message to resonate with individual communities and their specific needs.
Right.
It's a brilliant balancing act.
It really is.
And it's a reminder that
What's that?
even in a world dominated by digital marketing and algorithms, human connection is still paramount. People crave authenticity. They want to feel seen and understood. And Midea is demonstrating that you can achieve that at scale without sacrificing your core values.
It's impressive. It's almost like they've managed to humanize a multinational corporation.
Yeah, no small feat.
Which is no small feats, right? And they've done it without being preachy or overly sentimental.
Yeah.
They're just quietly going about their business, making a difference, and letting their actions speak for themselves.
Well said.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised by how impressed I am.
Me too, honestly.
I thought we were going to be analyzing like a fairly standard corporate sponsorship model.
Right.
But they've really raised the bar.
Yeah, they really have.
I have to admit, I'm now low-key obsessed with Midea.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to go check out those surprising stories videos for myself.
Cool.
And maybe even see what kind of appliances they offer.
I might join you there.
It's all right.
And hey, if we're lucky, maybe they'll surprise us with a new dishwasher or something.
One can dream.
Right.
But on that note, I think it's time to wrap up.
All right.
This fascinating deep dive into the world of Midea. Remember, it's my dear, not Midea.
Right.
Spread the word.
Please.
And until next time,
keep
exploring those brands that inspire you and maybe even challenge you to think differently about the world.
And make a difference. No doubt about it. So much to unpack here. For you, what are like the big takeaways? What really sticks out?
Well, I think it's a good reminder that success isn't always about doing it all yourself, you know?
Right.
It's about finding those partnerships where everyone wins.
Yeah.
Midea, they get their brand out there. People feel good about it. NYCFC gets the support and resources they need. And then the community, they see those real improvements in their lives, their homes. It's a model worth paying attention to.
Makes you wonder if we've been too focused on competition, you know, and not enough on actually working together.
Yeah, maybe. But what I think is really cool is how Midea and NYCFC went about this. They didn't just like throw money at the problem and call it a day. They got specific, figured out what was needed, then came up with those creative solutions.
Yeah, totally.
Like those appliances, they weren't just random. They were chosen because they could actually make a difference for those families in the South Bronx, thinking about their health, their well-being.
And I love how they've woven this whole surprising partnerships idea into everything, from their sponsorship strategy to those marketing campaigns.
It's a theme.
It is. And it reminds us that sometimes the best collaborations, the ones that have the biggest impact, they come from places you'd least expect.
Absolutely. And think about the ripple effect, you know? Those young people being trained as community soccer leaders through CITC.
Right.
They're not only picking up skills, they're becoming role models for the younger kids.
Passing it on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inspiring a whole new generation to believe in themselves, in their community. It's pretty amazing.
It's like this whole ecosystem of positive change that grows out of that initial partnership.
Spot on. And that's something we can all take inspiration from, right? No matter what we're into, what we're passionate about. Maybe it's partnering with a local school, offering some mentorship, or teaming up with a small business to put on a community event.
Or even just like being more open to connecting with people who are different from us, you know, people who see things differently, have different experiences.
It's those unexpected connections. Those are the ones that often spark the best ideas, lead to the most rewarding experiences.
Couldn't agree more. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. Think about those surprising partnerships that could exist in your own life.
What are those connections waiting to be made?
Yeah, like what seemingly unrelated things could you bring together to make a positive impact? What talents, resources, whatever you've got could actually benefit your community in ways you haven't even thought of?
It's all about exploring, staying open to new connections,
Yeah.
and letting yourself be surprised by what partnerships can achieve. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the power of strategic partnerships. It's not just about slapping a logo on a jersey. It's about finding those synergies, those shared values, and those opportunities to create that win-win situation for everyone involved.
It's about understanding that a successful partnership is a two-way street. Both parties need to benefit, and the goals need to be aligned for it to truly work.
And Midea clearly understands that. They've managed to create this model for global expansion through strategic partnerships that's both effective and impactful.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
It's a lesson for any brand looking to expand its reach and build a strong global presence. So what can someone like me learn from this? I'm not a branding expert.
That's a great question. And that's actually something Brando really cares about, teaching and inspiring people. He started this company called the Brando Group.
The Brando Group.
Yeah, they help brands figure out who they are, create campaigns, and even do team building.
So if I'm feeling stuck, I can call up Brando and be like, help me find my inner challenger brand.
Exactly. And if you just want to learn more from him, he has this great podcast called B+.
B+?
Yeah, where he talks about everything he's learned about branding.
B+. Like we can all be better. I like that. So for everyone listening who wants to check it out, where can they find it?
It's like he say, don't just be good, be better. And that's something we can all use, right? Not just in branding.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's our lives, our jobs, or even just how we deal with everyday stuff, that idea of always trying to improve can make a huge difference.
Right.
It's about pushing ourselves, trying new things, and being open to things that might surprise us at first.
This whole deep dive has been full of surprises.
It has.
I mean, who would have thought an appliance brand would have so much success with a new soccer team in a place where soccer isn't even the biggest sport? It just shows that sometimes doing things differently gets the best results.
That's what's so great about Brando. He doesn't follow the rules. He makes his own.
Yeah.
He sees what others miss, and he takes risks. That's a good lesson for all of us.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired, what's one thing you'd tell them based on what we've learned? What's the takeaway from this whole thing?
Don't be afraid of the unexpected. You know, look for those challenger brands in your own life, those chances that seem a little different or weird. You never know where they might take you.
This has been a great deep dive.
It has.
We've learned so much about how Brando thinks about brands, the power of working together, and how important it is to make a positive impact. What stands out to you from all of this? What surprising things could you try to reach your goals? Think about that as you go back to your day. Until next time, keep exploring and keep reaching for B+.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we did.
Always a pleasure.
And remember, there's always something new to learn, something new to explore. Until next time, keep those minds curious, keep asking those questions, and keep diving deep.